I got a theory for why the Patriots may be welcoming the idea that they're going to trade up to get Justin Fields, because what else is spinning while this rumor mill is churning on Justin Fields? Oh, Jimmy Garoppolo may be traded before or during the draft. Oh, the Patriots may be the team that gets Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, Kyle, we're just going to go with one of these rookies. You get this guy wants $25 million, and you want a first-round pick or a second-round pick. You want back the pick you gave us 4 years ago,
right?
And you're about ready to unload the guy because he can't stay healthy, and you think he's worth a second-round pick? Give me a freaking break.
Yeah.
So it could be just part of the effort to squeeze Jimmy G to take far less than $25 million, and the 49ers to take less than that second-round pick that they may be stuck on if they're going to trade Jimmy G now.
Yeah, it's a good thought. I mean, you're right. You could use that as a negotiating ploy because, too, just like we talked about yesterday, and you've been saying this from the start with Jimmy G too. Like, we know Bill Belichick. He's not going to pay 3 cents if something's worth 2.5 cents. He's just not going to do it. He's going to be like, well, can I cut this penny in half and give you that because it's only worth 2.5? I mean, that's the way he is. There's no way he's going to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, to your point, at $25 million a year. So I would think that 49ers and Shanahan and Lynch are going to have to work some magic like Carolina did with Teddy Bridgewater and lower that number, pay a chunk of that contract to where now the Patriots, or if anybody else that's interested in Jimmy Garoppolo, will be more accepting. And I think also you'll get more back, right, in return if you're the 49ers, if you could just take away some of the money as far as that asset in the draft pick. So what you're saying is not a bad thought. Definitely not. I understand that. My thing, Mike, the other thing I was going to say would, like, if New England's thinking about moving to pick 4, I think there would be other motives there. To me, like, the thing I would go to was like, wait, why would they be going to 4? What would they be doing? And that's where I would go to. I think there's a better bet if they trade to 4 that they're trading to 4 because they want to get in front of the Bengals and take Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell. It's one of those two. That, to me, would be more of the New England type of thing to do than I think the Justin Fields pick. But we'll see tonight, that's for sure.
The big trade up, definitely not a New England type of thing. And I still think they're in win now mode. The idea of making some big move to the top of the draft to get a quarterback who's going to be behind Cam Newton for at least a year doesn't fit with everything we've seen from the Patriots this offseason. And I know some folks in Boston, particularly on radio there, get all up in arms when we say the Patriots love Cam Newton. But you've heard it. I've heard it. They love Cam Newton. And I know the Patriots fans don't love Cam Newton because they see last year, and they don't see a path to him being better this year despite all the players they've added. They had Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar, and Cam Newton's got another year in the system, and he won't have COVID this year. And they just think that it's going to be a repeat of what they saw in 2020, and it's not.
Right.
So
I agree.
If they're going to move up, and I don't think they will, but if they're going to move up, I think they're moving up for somebody they're going to plug into the lineup right away, not somebody that's going to play in 2022.
I'm 100% with you, 100%. And to me, that goes back to, maybe that's why they would have traded up for a Mac Jones, because he fits that mold of what you're talking about. A guy that, he could play this year for us. We feel like he's NFL ready. I mean, you hear everybody say that, right? I mean, there's not really been anybody quoted about the quarterbacks that doesn't say Mac Jones is the most NFL ready at this moment, this second. So, it'll be interesting. It's going to be very interesting, the top 10. I really am going to be intrigued by it because, as we've discussed a few times, there's lack of top-end premium talent in this draft. So there are going to be a few teams that are going to go, man, we like these players and we have a real need for this position and this type of player to want to get up there to get one of these few elite guys that are there to be had tonight for the 2021 draft.
And what is amazing about it is everybody knows the first 2 picks. Everybody knows. There's no way the Jaguars aren't taking Trevor Lawrence. There's no way the Jets aren't taking Zach Wilson. You can't function as an organization in the New York media or with the New York fans if you have done nothing to push back against the presumption that it's Zach Wilson. Surprises don't go over well with Fireman Ed. It's not going to happen. It's Lawrence, it's Wilson. But then, after the first 2, We don't know what the hell's going to happen.
No,
I can't remember a draft like that where first 2, carve it in stone. Next 8, who the hell knows?
I know. You're right. Who the hell knows? I mean, yeah, the 49ers, the Falcons right now, we're still not sure what the hell's going on with them. The Bengals, you hear that. Like, you're right. There's very few teams we feel like we can really pin a guy to that you kind of could, in years past, just to go, I think that's who they're going to take. That makes sense. Like, I think, there's a handful of those guys every year where you just go, I think that guy's going to be there and that's going to make sense and all that. But there's very little of that this year. That's really what makes it fascinating.
Peter King dusted off the notion that the 49ers will look into trading Jimmy Garoppolo on Monday, and he attached that second-round draft pick to it as compensation. Jason Lockenfora thereafter reported, and I want to get this right, a very strong expectation among other general managers that the 49ers are going to try to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's take that for what it is.
Yeah.
It's others in the league thinking that the phone's going to ring and that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be available, and whether he is or isn't remains to be seen. There is one factor, though, Chris, that may be a bit diminished. The idea that there would be a schism in the locker room, because George Kittle recently said the team trusts in Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch because they haven't led us astray yet. That is the closest thing we've seen to whatever you guys do, we're on board. You're going to draft another quarterback, and you're going to put him on the field, and Jimmy Garoppolo is either not going to be on the team or he's going to be on the bench. We're fine with that. George Kittle will tear up the T-shirt with Jimmy G's picture on it and reel in all the things he said about Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's our guy. No, whoever you say our guy is, Kyle, that's who our guy is, and that's what I think the 49ers organization at the top needed to hear in the event that they do hang on to Jimmy Garoppolo in the hopes of getting more for him later. I still think he has to be gone by week 1,
right?
But they may get more in trade for him later than they would get now.
Yeah, there's definitely that possibility. It is good to hear George Kittle. Like, that's going to make, the 49ers front office feel good, right? That there won't be mutiny or anything like that. It tells you, again, the faith the team has in Shanahan. They understand that the guy that's leading their team is a pretty special offensive mind and thinker and those type of things. So they believe. You see that. But, yeah, I think ultimately, right, I don't think there's going to be like a war in the locker room, but you're still going to have guys in that locker room, even though who are going to go like, hey, we trust Kyle, they're going to still look at the corner of their eye and be like, man, Jimmy was good. Like, Jimmy's the man. Why don't we let him be the quarterback? And maybe not fully emotionally give themselves to the other quarterback, because there's still like an emotional attachment to the old guy there. That's what I would worry about. And that's where it can maybe not really allow a team to come together and be 100% cohesive that way. And that's why I ultimately think, yes, he gets traded. I'm not so sure it happens this weekend, but I think it happens for sure sometime between now and I'm going to say the end of OTAs. I would think I would think he's gone before training camp. That would be my guess. I agree. Yeah, that would be my
here's another reason. Another reason. They want to move on from him because he gets hurt all the time. Okay? They've admitted that.
Yeah.
They've admitted that.
Right.
Now also, he freaked out Kyle in the divisional round of the playoffs in 2019, and he became Bob Greasy for the rest of the postseason until the Super Bowl, during which he played well until the fourth quarter when he fell apart and missed Emmanuel Sanders with a championship throw. Other than that, he's been fine. My point is this. If you're concerned about his ability to stay healthy and you put him in a preseason game.
That's right.
And he suffers a serious injury.
That's right.
You're stuck
with
a $24.1 million salary. I remember back in 2008 when the Ravens wanted Steve McNair. The Titans had, was it 2008 or 2006? Whatever, it was 2006. It was the year they drafted Vince Young. They wanted Steve McNair out, and they locked him out of the building. They wouldn't let Steve McNair in because if he dropped a dumbbell on his foot and he was out for the year, they had a $10 million cap charge, which was a huge deal in 2006. So you don't want a guy that you're concerned about getting injured in a spot where he could get injured. And, under that circumstance, you don't want him in the building at all. If you think this guy is fragile, you don't want him working out in your weight room. You don't want him running on your practice field. You don't want him doing anything, because one false step, and the 49ers saw this pre-Kyle and John Lynch. They saw it with Michael Crabtree.
when
he popped an Achilles during an OTA.
Right.
You're stuck for $24.1 million this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think all those factors are very real. And Mike, I mean, we got one on our text right now. Just like I see Schefter put out a tweet explaining this 1 minute ago. You want me to read it?
Well, go ahead. You read it and I'll interpret it.
Okay. Multiple teams are expected to contact the 49ers today to inquire about the availability of quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, per sources. But as of early this morning, the chances of him being traded are, in the words of one source, remote. Let's see if anything changes in the next 72 hours.
All right, I'll interpret it. The source is Don Yee, Jimmy Garoppolo's agent, because there's a strong connection between Yee and Schefter. And this is the message that don't get your hopes up that Jimmy G's taking a big pay cut. That's why it's remote, because he's making $25 million this year.
Right.
So he's got no reason to cut it to $10 million now. He can wait till later. Now, here's the problem. You wait too long, and the 49ers cut you. See, I think Don Yee realizes they're not going to do that. We're going to come to you right before the start of the regular season and say, you got to slash your salary in half or more than in half, or we're going to cut you. For the reason we're very fortuitous, the reason we're just discussing, they don't want to risk owing him $24.1 million.
Yeah.
It's not going to last that long. At the latest, if they are going to cut him, they're going to take the best offer they can get, or they're going to cut him right before training camp. And if you cut him right before training camp, he's got time to go somewhere else, especially if Don Yee sees which way the wind's blowing and has made some calls to some teams saying, trust me, my guy's going to be available just as you're reporting for camp. I think it's that $24 million question. I think that's what keeps the 49ers from holding him until Labor Day weekend and saying, you're taking $10 million this year, you're taking a hike, and good luck finding another job.
Right.
They don't want the risk he gets injured during the preseason or in training camp.
That's real. That is real. The thing is, with Jimmy G, he could take the risk of losing out on a chance to be a starter still, though, if he does wait too long himself, right, to maybe make some of these concessions or do that. Whether that's if the Bears would be interested, if New England, I think if you got too far down the road with them, all right, they're just going to go, wait, it's the middle of August. Cam's practicing good. We like it. Sorry, we're not going to mess with our team right now. I would worry about those type of things. To now it's like, wait, it's gone a little too long. And now you might get cut and not make anything close to $24 million. So that's where they're going to have to balance it out. And then this is another thing that kind of popped in my mind as we were talking about this with the 49ers. Hey, the 49ers, they might not be in a rush to trade them this weekend. The other thing, too, is they might want to just keep them through OTAs and things like that just to make sure their rookie quarterback is everything they thought he was going to be. For the proverbial hope he doesn't crap the bed now that he gets here in the NFL. And once you get to see that and go, okay, wait, he's good, he's comfortable, all that, all right, now we can get rid of Jimmy G. There's that factor, too, to where maybe they hang on to him just for a little bit just so they can get their guy in the building and know that, hey, he's ready to take the reins.
One last point that reinforces my belief that this is Don Yee putting the word out, as Matt Casey notes, key word, first word, multiple. Multiple teams are expected to contact the 49ers. In other words, there's going to be a market for my guy.
Yeah.
Multiple teams. Many teams are saying they want Jimmy Garoppolo. We were trying to figure out last night who would want him. Texans, Bears, and
Patriots.
Another one that slips my mind. Patriots, duh.
I mean,
we were talking about the Patriots.
But
Patriots, Texans, Bears, that's it.
It's really it, right? I mean, Denver's off the table. So, I mean, it comes down to those teams. I don't know who else could be realistically out there to be thinking that. So I guess those are the multiple teams we're talking about here.
All it takes is two. Two is multiple.
And
even then, it's not easy to find two clear and obvious destinations for Jimmy G. But if there were only two, I would say Texans and Patriots, because you've got the history there, you've got the knowledge of Jimmy Garoppolo, and arguably you have the need. I still think about the Jermaine Wiggins quote from 6-7 weeks ago.
Yeah, right.
The former Patriot who's now in WEEI saying that there were Patriots players that kind of looked at Jimmy G sideways. Can we count on you? He had a 4-game audition in 2016. He got injured in game 2.
Yeah.
And if I'm Bill Belichick, I don't know. Do you go with Cam Newton and Jimmy G? Do you come up with a 2-quarterback offense and you use them both? I don't know. But this gets back to what we were saying. we keep hearing that they like Cam Newton. Why would they want Jimmy G? But maybe they want the familiarity. Maybe they want the flexibility.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Right.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.